Conspiracy theories. Most of us love to roll our eyes at them. They're the bedtime stories of the paranoid, the favorite jokes of the skeptics. But what if I told you some of them aren't theories at all? Tonight, we're diving into conspiracies so wild they sound ripped from a thriller novel, but every last one has the paper trail, the whistleblowers, and the undeniable receipts. So grab a seat, maybe dim the lights, because this rabbit hole is going to be a long one. Operation Mockingbird, the press in Uncle Sam's pocket. Born in the early Cold War years when America feared communism creeping into every corner, CIA began recruiting top journalists. New York Times, Washington Post, Time, CBS, you name it. And they weren't just reporting, they were planning stories, shaping public opinion, and outright lying when needed. By the 1970s, the Church Committee hearing finally dragged the truth into daylight. Former CIA Director William Colby admitted the CIA owns everyone of any significance in the major media. So the next time a headline feels too convenient, remember it may not just be clickbait. It may be a government trap. Operation Paperclip, Nazis on the payroll. After World War II, America and the Soviets were in a race for rocket technology. Enter Operation Paperclip, a secret plan to smuggle Nazi scientists into the US, despite their past. 1,600 scientists brought over, many tied to horrific human experiments. Werner von Braun, once a Nazi SS officer, became the father of NASA's Saturn V rocket, the one that took us to the moon. Records were cleaned up, so war crime connections would not tarnish America's image. So technically, Nazis didn't just lose World War II, they helped America plant a flag on the moon. The Gulf of Tonkin incident. A Phantom War trigger. August 1964. U.S. destroyer Maddox claimed it was an attack by North Vietnamese-controlled boats. LBJ went to Congress with this story. Within days, America was knee-deep in Vietnam. Years later, declassified NSA documents revealed the second attack never happened. In fact, the Maddox fired first in self-defense during a routine patrol. Yet this one story justifies sending millions into a brutal war that cost 58,000 American lives and millions of Vietnamese. One Phantom torpedo equals years of jungle warfare. Talk about a deadly game of telephone. The CIA's crack cocaine connection. The 1980s, the war on drugs was the buzzword of the decade. Politicians promised safety, but behind closed doors, a different story. Investigative journalist Gary Webb published Dark Alliance, exposing how the CIA-backed Nicaraguan Centras smuggled cocaine into the U.S. cities, fueling the crack epidemic. The profits funded anti-communist wars abroad. Webb was discredited, attacked, and eventually found dead from 2 gunshot wounds, officially ruled a suicide. Years later, a CIA Inspector General report confirmed Webb was onto something. The CIA knew about drug trafficking ties and did nothing. So the government fought a war on drugs while letting their allies sell the ammo? Star Wars. But not the movie. The SDI bluff. In 1983, President Reagan announced the Strategic Defense Initiative. Nicknamed Star Wars, it promised satellites and lasers that could zap nuclear missiles out of the sky. It sounded futuristic, invincible, and completely bankrupted the Soviets trying to keep it up. But behind the scenes, the science was nowhere near ready. Many experts called it impossible. Still, billions poured in, some into research, much into theatrics. So while the Soviets tried to play chess, America basically pretended to have a lightsaber under the table. The Bohemian Grove, where the powerful play. Hidden deep in the California redwoods sits Bohemian Grove, a retreat for presidents, CEOs, and world leaders. Every July, they gather for secret talks and strange rituals. Journalists who snuck in described the cremation of care ceremony, hooded figures, a 40-foot owl statue, fire, and chanting. Former attendees, including Nixon, Reagan, Bush Sr., and countless power brokers. Deals get made in the shadows. Wars, policies, business empires shaped around campfires. Forget summer camps, sing-alongs, this is where the elite roast marshmallows and maybe global stability. NSA's mass surveillance, Snowden's receipt drop. Whispers of the government surveillance floated for years, but no one had hard proof. Then in 2013, Edward Snowden, a contractor of the NSA, leaked thousands of documents. They revealed global programs collecting emails, phone records, text messages, even webcam footage. Programs like the PRISM showed cooperation between tech giants and government agencies. Overnight, Snowden went from traitor to hero, depending on who you ask. So if you're watching me on your phone right now, chances are you're not the only one watching me. So here's the unsettling truth. What was once whispered in diners, late-night radio, or scribbled in the margins of old notebooks turned out to be very, very real. Mockingbird, Paperclip, Tonkin, Crack, Star Wars, Bohemian Grove, NSA. These aren't bedtime stories for the paranoid. They are the receipts of history. And the scariest part, these are just the ones that got caught. So the next time you hear someone laugh at a conspiracy theory, remember, reality has a strange way of outpacing imagination. If tonight's deep dive rattled your worldview, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because here at Haven, the shadows are never silent, and the truth is always stranger than fiction. Have a good night, guys. Bye.